Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing the Oscar-winning movie for the movie year 1986, which was what I consider to be one of the worst Oscar-winning film of all time, and that is Platoon, starring Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, and William Dafoe. Of course, this film was written and directed by Oliver Stone, and it's supposed to have been based on his real-life experiences during the Vietnam War. When he served and fought in the Vietnam War, it's supposed to be from his, it's like this fictionalized version of what he experienced during when he served during the Vietnam War in the U.S. military. So, but this movie, to this day, I just recently watched it just the other day, I still consider this to be the worst Oscar-winning film I've ever seen in my life. Now, true, I've not seen other movies that was considered the worst, like Crash is considered like the worst one made, or Oscar-winning film made, or even Argo, which I refuse to see because Zero Dark 30 should have won that year, or Shakespeare in Love, or some of the movies in the in the 21st century that has won for the Oscar for Best Picture are considered like the worst. But Platoon, I consider Platoon to be one of the worst. No question about it. True, I have not seen those movies I just mentioned, but Platoon is the worst. Now, what Platoon is about, those who don't know, those who haven't seen this movie, is from the point of view of Charlie Sheen's character. He plays a young person in the army. I'm really sure if it was in the army or the Marines in this film, but he enlisted in the United States Army to. I'm not sure if it was in the army or the Marines, but he enlisted in the United States military to fight in Vietnam, and he's caught in the middle between these two sergeants who had a feud. A personal feud with each other, and they were played by Tom Berenger and William Dafoe. William Dafoe played the sergeant like a little bit more passive, not as aggressive, not as hard fought, and a little more gentle with his troops and how he conducted, his troops. Compared to Tom Berenger, who was like a gung-ho guy, kind of like almost like a John Wayne type. No nonsense guy who wants to kill all the Viet Cong and all that type of thing. And Charlie Sheen is in between these two guys. And of course, this one, practically the whole film, pretty much, is constant curse. And it's like watching an action film by Bruce Willis or Eddie Murphy. Constant cursing in the whole film. And almost practically non-stop action for almost 2. And this is just under a 2-hour film, and you have pretty much nothing but action, nothing but cursing, one battle scene after another, and the two soldiers fighting, constantly fighting it out. I mean, that's what you had in this movie, and like this movie, and I still can't believe only 3-4 years later that this movie won the Oscar for 1986. Well, the Oscar was in 1987, the 87 Oscars, but it was surrounding movies that take place the year before. And I still can't believe that this movie won the Oscar for Best Picture. I still can't believe, and I still don't know I don't remember what movies that Platoon was up against, but it's like, I'm embarrassed to lose to this piece of turd movie. And of course, it got so bad to the point where, in this film, there's one particular sequence where they go into this village, and they pretty much kill everybody in the whole village, and burn the whole village down. And that Tom Berenger violated the rules of the rules of action in this film by attacking these innocent civilians, because he believed that all the people in this village were fighting for the Viet Cong because they found weapons that was buried, that was hidden in this in this village. So one of the leaders of this village says, "Hey, we're just holding it for them because they forced us to keep these guns, within our village." Now, Tom Berenger didn't buy that, and they were killing everybody in the whole thing. And William Dafoe's character decides to bring up charges against Tom Berenger, and they quote rat in the mouth, and because he ran in the mouth, Tom Berenger set William Dafoe to be killed, and Tom Berenger does shoot William Dafoe in this movie, but he didn't. You thought that he was killed. Now, meanwhile, the platoon was leaving this village, was being evacuated from this village because they heard that the Viet Cong was going to come after him. And from the helicopter, Charlie Sheen says, "Hey, he saw that William Dafoe was still alive, bleeding but still alive." And you have that iconic moment when William Dafoe has his arms up in the air, waving in the helicopter, and as he gets killed by the Vietnamese army or the Viet Cong, and he dies. So Charlie Sheen believes that, and rightly so, because we saw it happen, that Tom Berenger's character set William Dafoe up, to be killed. Not only killed him, but left him stranded there because he said, "Oh, they killed him," but in reality, he didn't die. And set him up to be killed, and so that was going on. And at the end, towards the end of the film, Tom Berenger, and the big battle scene in the end, Tom Berenger gets shot. He's lying there, bleeding to death, and Charlie Sheen comes along, finds him, and Charlie Sheen kills Tom Berenger at the end of the film. And of course, ironically, the irony is that 3 years later, Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger saw together in what I consider to be one of the best baseball comedies, which of course was Major League. So the two of them joined up together again, like 3 years later, to film the first Major League movie, and then the eventual sequel. But so it's funny to see them, fighting it out in Platoon, and then a buddy in Major League. So I mean the course of actors, they course, or that type of thing. But Major League was a much better movie. Even Major League is a better movie than Platoon in terms of being a better film. But Platoon is terrible. There's no game way of saying it. Platoon is a terrible movie. Cannot probably suck enough. And I still consider this to be the worst Oscar-winning movie I've ever seen in my life. And most of the Oscar-winning films from the 80s. I mean, people talk about the movies, in the 2000s. I'm talking about Oscar-winning movies in the 2000s. And I'm telling you now that the movie that just won the Oscar back in February, this is the only foreign language film to ever win the Oscar for Best Picture. That movie is going to be so forgettable. And not only that, but I think that was also going to be considered as one of the worst Oscar-winning films ever. Because it's the only foreign language movie, nobody's going to see this thing. But people kind of forget that most of the movies during the 1980s that went for Best Picture, with probably the exception of Rain Man, is pretty forgettable. In terms of Oscar-winning films, most of them are pretty forgettable. This one is definitely not only forgettable, but it's also one of the worst. Because you watch the movie today, 34 years later after it came out, you say, "How the hell did this movie ever win for Best Picture?" I mean, that's how I felt when I actually went to see this movie when it came out. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was terrible. There was nothing good about it. It was like a stereotypical war picture. It didn't do anything for me then. Doesn't do anything for me now. And I still can't believe I watched this thing again. For the first time in 34 years, I watched this movie, and to this day, I still can't believe this one. I mean, they should give the Oscar to the '86 Mets. I mean, at least they won something. The people remember that team. But Platoon, forget it. So that's the movie of the review of the movie Platoon. Please click on the video. Please rate it. Feel free to Please subscribe to my channel and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and on my YouTube channel about RallyC.com. That's over WDY. C.com. There's a homepage of Rally Reviewer Christy Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website, particularly his TV trash reviews. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.